Final race of the West Coast swing for the Gatorade Cup Series here at Phoenix for the running of the Gatorade 500. Should be one wild race. We've seen some wild races in the past, and just coming off that wild Las Vegas race, drivers are antsy, mad, angry, not friendly to each other. And on pole for today's race is Jonathan Rains in the 29, 2's outside the 00 of Lee Jack Tavo. Then third, you have Steve Morgan. Fourth, Carson Bowers, running out the top 5, Luke Rainey. Then sixth, you have Nathan Stapleton. Seventh, Griffin Lynn. Eighth, Justin Heath. Ninth, Levi Jones, running out the top 10, got William Seaman. Then for the rest of the year, you got Jay Jefferson, Grayson Thompson to his inside. Thompson, center of much controversy, blocking a ton of people as a lap car. Then you got Isaac Nichols and Justin Zidell. Andrew Miller trying to finish a race in the Gatorade Cup Series for the first time this season, starting inside the top 20. Jake Galloway to his inside. Then you got Stuart Gretton and Tim Randolph, who won last race over some controversy. Then you got Riley Sprague and Jonathan Buford. Then Derek Hamill and Trey Rainey. Brandon Tharp and Alex Stewart. Michael Gregory, and then Code Luigi. Luigi is the second in points, man. Tharp is leading the points just ahead of him. Then you got Michael Canto and Marcus Sachi. Joe Jefferson, Eli Bright. Jeff Bright and Diego Yapez, then Donovan Dewitt and Emmett Juckham, Carter Friesen, Colton Yo, who was spun on the last lap from the race lead in the Las Vegas race just last race. Then they got Max Harrison and Steve Larker, TJ Hanley and Alexander Rowan. Running out the field, they got Lawrence Palmpon, who's inside the 47 of Kyle Perry, who's the one that spun the 15 out on the final lap. In some controversy, we'll talk about that just a little bit later. Rains has the pole for this race. Let's get down trackside to the command.
The many great folks at Bass Pro Shops, Tracker, and MB&A. Gentlemen, start your engines!
Business as usual today, buddy. Nice and easy. Give your seatbelts a little tuck for me, buddy. You're ready to rock and roll. Buddy, be ready here now. Feel that thing out real good here for the first lap or so. Make sure you got a good feel for it.
Isaac Nichols stalls the car. He's not going to be able to get to the green flag, but Kyle Perry starting in the 41st position. Spun Colton Yo out on the final lap off of turn 2 in the Las Vegas race just last race. Said it was an accident, got tight off the corner. As we're not going to be going green this time by, Nichols stopped, and these guys are going to go around one more time, make sure everyone has a fair opportunity to get going. So now we can talk about some storylines coming into this race. We're talking about Andrew Miller trying to finish a race this season. He's not finished one yet, as he'll roll off in the 16th position. Colton Yo trying to redeem himself after getting spun out on the last lap, starting just ahead of Kyle Perry, who spun him out. Perry mad at Grayson Thompson, saying it was his fault for blocking the 15, slowing him down, and that he got tight off the corner. It was not on purpose. It was a complete accident. He'll take some fault for it, but most of the fault should be put on the 33. And if Colton Yo decides to wreck him in the future, he will definitely retaliate on Yo. And then we got some other drivers just trying to get some points. Code Luigi, second in points. Brandon Tharp, your points leader. They're right now 1-2. Start right near each other as we will now go green this time. Rains, Louis Jack Tavo on the front row. Nichols going to try and keep from going a lap down. Pace car into pit road. As they come down the front stretch. And at that line, that's where they will start this race. Green flag is waving. We're racing at Phoenix. So Luke Rainey really did not get a good jump from that 5th position and slowed down the inside lane. They're 3 wide now in turn number 3 as Rains and Morgan get away. Here comes Carson Bowers for second. And 3 wide, Griffin Lynn, Lee Jack Tavo, Nathan Stapleton all in that. They race off of 4. Jonathan Rains leads lap 1, and there's a 3 wide battle. Make that double foul now as Luke Rainey got clear. He's to the bottom lane. Nathan Stapleton and Louis Jack Tavo for a position inside the top 5. Little contact right there. Luke Rainey wanted to keep his spot in the top 10 in points. And how big it is if you can stay top 10 in points pretty much all season. We saw Code Luigi last season win the Cup title because of how consistent he was. So it's the battle for 4th. 3 cars pull away as Carson Bowers trying to run down Steve Morgan is trying to run down Jonathan Rains. And then you got Luke Rainey battling with Lee Jack Nathan Stapleton for that 4th position as they race down the dogleg entering turn number 3. Excuse me. Carson Bowers to the inside. Couldn't get enough for a run. Got tight. Luke Rainey trying to clear Lee Jack Tavo and get up in front. He does easily. And now Luke Rainey to the 4th position. And it's the battle for 5th now inside the top 5. Griffin Lynn and Louis Jack Tavo. Jack Tavo has it. Lynn wants it. Bowers with a run. Can't get underneath Steve Morgan. A good run, though. I think he was going to be able to. Now Bowers gets to the inside. Daytona 500 winner right there. To the inside, Steve Morgan, but gets tight down low. Classic case again, tight down low at Phoenix. You drive it in so hard that you just can't hold it to the bottom lane. Luke Rainey getting passed by Griffin Lynn for fourth. Now Rainey's got to try and fend off Lee Jack Tavo, who goes 3 wide. As they still fight for second in front. Side by side. Lynn clears for fourth. Battle for fifth. Luke Rainey and Luigi Actavo. Bowers drives it hard to the bottom. Trying to clear. He slides up. And gets that position. Luke Rainey really high, almost into the wall. And then you got 2 RCR cars that are going to be going inside the top 10, 6th, and maybe even 7th. Nathan Stapleton trying to get to that position. So Luke Rainey falling back. A little slip up there. And it cost him a ton of ground. But how about that? 3 RCR cars. Nathan Stapleton in 7th. Grayson Thompson in 6th. And 1 leading in the 29. The other one, Andrew Miller, who's yet to finish the race this season, he's battling his way up inside the top 15. So Miller doing a great job as of now, up to the 11th position. All 4 RCR cars solidly inside the top 15. Look now for the battle for third. Griffin Lynn charging. Steve Morgan falling back. You see back there, Luke Rainey battling, trying to get back by Grayson Thompson in number 33. Gets tight, slides up. Jake Galloway behind them. Andrew Miller coming inside the top 10. Everyone stays in line right there. Carson Bowers trying to get to Jonathan Rains to make a move. Back there, that's the battle for 7th. Luke Rainey and Grayson Thompson. Carson Bowers for the race lead, entering 3 and 4. Pulls up beside, even with Jonathan Rains. Now through 3 and 4. The run off the top is going to help Jonathan Rains try and clear. And Rains gets clear of Carson Bowers. Now back to the inside goes Bowers. Gets tight down low, though. And now Louis Jack Tavo battles for 4th with Steve Morgan. It's that 13 car. Really falling back here as we get a few laps into this run. Tires getting worn in. And possibly that 13 better on fresh rubbers. Griffin Lynn to the inside. Kamikazes it as the caution comes out. And battle back to the line. Jonathan Rains in first. Griffin Lynn second. Carson Bowers third. Yellow number 1. As William Seaman, Colton Yo, Eli Bright, possibly Trey Rainey, Code Luigi, and Emmett Juckham have some damage in this as well. Joe Jefferson is off pace. Well, let's check out what happened. Colton Yo has a ton of damage to that number 15. This is going to help Nichols, who is only 1 lap down. He could possibly try and get his lap back. If these guys pit, he could possibly try and stay out. Looked like it happened in 3 and 4. We'll see if these guys pit first. If they do, we'll stay with that. If not, we will go and see what the caution is for. But it looks like they're going to be coming down pit road. It'll be 37 laps to go, and I believe they could possibly make it 37 laps on a tank of fuel. So just 4 tires filled up with fuel. You should be good to the end. See, it looks like everyone should be coming down pit road. So Rains from the pole has led every lap so far, but now it's going to come down to his pit crew's hands. And we'll see, can they get Rains off of pit road in front? I believe it should be 4 tires. Yep, 4 tires for Jonathan Rains. He likes his car. Griffin Lynn takes 2. Steve Morgan. Some of these guys taking 2. 3 wide. And the 9, if Justin had to slam on brakes, it looks like the 9 has some pretty good damage to the right side of that car. I don't know if that was from an incident on pit road or if that was from the crash possibly. But off of pit road in front, the 36 of Griffin Lynn, I don't know if he took 2 of her, if that was just a very fast 4-tire pit stop. But we'll see what happened. Ran out caution number 1, Colton Yo, out of this race. To think a wreck can start in the middle of turns 1 and 2 and end in 3. So the 9 of Justin Heath up into Stuart Gratton in the 56. Gratton goes up. They get Levi Shones. Shones spins down to the 38th Alex Stewart. They go back up and then they collect right there. Shones gets into the wall pretty hard. And then Stuart Gratton gets into the back of the 14, goes up high. And then this is where it gets a little strange. William Seaman coming along. They're 4 wide. He goes down, gets into Jonathan Beeford, spins him into the 42 of Code Luigi. The 6 spins up the track. The 42 goes up the track as well. That'll be a separate incident. Emmett Juckham barely escapes that. Then you got Kyle Perry that somehow got Colton Yo again. Joe Jefferson, somehow or another, the 47 has just taken out the 15 inadvertently. It wasn't really his fault. As you can see, the 6 kind of comes off the wall into the 47, but I think it's kind of funny how if the 6 kept on going, the 15 wouldn't have gotten the damage, but once he hit the 47, he spun around, and then that's where they got the damage. So 2 parts of this crash, as this was part 1. See, the 6 really just took evasive action trying to get by the 56, and the 42 kind of slid up and got into the 43 and kind of started that. And then that's where Eli Bright got his damage, and Code Luigi. It looks like the 18 of Trey Rainey as well. Not a great start to the season for Trey either. So you see Code Luigi gets hit by the 4, saves it, but then just overcorrects it up into the 43. The 88 has nowhere to go of Eli Bright, Trey Rainey, Emmett Juckham. 42, not too much damage, although we don't know what some of those components underneath look like. So 15 definitely out. Some of those guys might be slower. Reigns Les back. Griffin Lynn Les off of pit road. And Healy is back to the green flag. Coming back green, lap number 14. Griffin Lynn out front. Colton Yo's retired, and Isaac Nichols is only 1 lap down, so try and get his lap back in any way he can. We have 40 cars left on the lead lap. Out front, Griffin Lynn in the 36 gets off pit road in front. Steve Morgan behind him in 2nd, 3rd, Grayson Thompson, 4th, Nathan Stapleton, 5th, Jake Galloway. They got Jonathan Reigns back to 6th. He was from the race lead on that pit stop. Alex Stewart in 7th, Andrew Miller 8th, Justin Heath 9th, and Justin Zeidel rounding up the top 10. So as you can see, all 4 RCR cars in the top 8. So they definitely have their Phoenix stuff figured out. As the pace cars in, Lynn back into the restart zone. We're back racing. Pretty good jump there for Griffin Lynn. Didn't want to let that 13 get to the inside of him. Now it'll be interesting to see, do the 2 tires hold up versus the 4 tires? That's the big question. 4 cars pull away. Grayson Thompson blocks his teammate Nathan Stapleton down the backstretch. How about the 29 Jonathan Reigns moving into the top 5 already as the battle for 2nd is raging on. Thompson and Stapleton go to the inside. Steve Morgan, their other teammate, Jonathan Reigns, is coming back. Look at Grayson Thompson, got loose down low. Now Morgan looks for the race lead, entering turn number 1 to the inside of Griffin Lynn. Close off the corner, side by side, down this dog leg. Oh, around goes the 38 of Alex Stewart. He hits the outside wall hard, and he gets a ton of others. Eli Bright back in it, Donovan Dewitt, Carter Friesen. Oh, Canto and Lawrence Palanpon hit at the end, and yellow comes out. Steve Morgan leads us back. As we have another quick caution. Alex Stewart spun around in the dogleg, and he collects many, many drivers in this one. Another really strange incident from the 7th position. Alex Stewart has an issue to the 38. He's going down low, and it looks like he saved the car, came up and Justin Heath was there, and then they slapped to the outside wall. Stewart hard. Zeidel barely missed it. Luke Rainey barely missed it, and then Carter Friesen on the outside lane, hitting the brakes, but just not enough slow down there. Donovan Dewitt, and then that's where the 09 of Canto gets spun around. The 88 of Eli Bright gets into it. Lawrence Palanpon as well. So some tough breaks for a ton of drivers right here. Donovan Dewitt up there in the points. That was a hard hit right there. Friesen. Dewitt hits really hard. Right there, Eli Bright hits hard. And then up ahead, Palanpon coming in there just hits Canto hard. Really hard. Look at Kyle Perry wall riding off of the corner. Actually kept his position in front of the 39, it looked like. So back to the stripe in front. As we saw, it was the 13 of Steve Morgan, and they will stay out. I believe everyone should be staying out unless they have damage. Looks like everyone is staying out. In fact, and Morgan will lead us back to the green flag. Going back green, lap number 20. Steve Morgan still the one out front. So Lawrence Palanpon, Donovan Dewitt up there in points, not good for him. Carter Friesen out. Alex Stewart, Eli Bright, and Michael Canto. 35 cars left in the race. 34 on the lead lap. Nichols still 1 lap down the 48. Steve Morgan in 13 out front for this restart. Griffin Lynn in 2nd. Nathan Stapleton 3rd. The guys had probably the best car here today. Jonathan Reigns in 4th, trying to get back up to the front. Grayson Thompson in 5th. Then I got Jake Galloway in 6th. Andrew Miller 7th. Carson Bowers 8th. Justin Heath in 9th with a mangled race car. And Jay Jefferson rounding out the top 10. So it'll be interesting to see if Heath can get going. Morgan with a late restart right there. Went later in the restart zone. Possibly caught that 36 sleeping. Looked like he maybe saw the 36 trying to creep up in his mirror and decided to go later and catch that 36 off guard. Now Lynn having to challenge with Stapleton. Looks like Justin Heath is slower. He's moving high out of the way. So Justin Heath, the damage to that 9 car, very, very bad. As Stapleton to the inside, sliding that car off a 4. He's going to make it stick to the inside of the 13 for the race lead, and his teammate following him through, Jonathan Reigns. out. Stapleton clears down the dogleg. His teammate trying to get through as well. Jonathan Rains side by side with Steve Morgan in 3. Clear, clear. He can slide up. He does. Jonathan Rains now back to second. That 29 car is fast. Remember, he took 4 fresh tires on those pit stops. Some took 2. Morgan looking back to the inside, but I believe that 29, if he can get by that 27, it might be all she wrote for those other guys. We saw that 29 get out front. He was untouchable once he got there. He has a run to his teammate now. Into 3. Morgan, though, occupies the 29 with Stapleton trying to keep the race lead. Rains clears once again. And behind them, a whole mess of cars. Griffin Lynn, Carson Bowers battling for 4th. Jay Jefferson's made his way up into the top 5, going 3 wide for the 4th position. As Rains looks for the race lead, almost in contact with his teammate. Jonathan Rains clears. And the 29 car back out front at Phoenix. Stapleton back to second. And look at Jay Jefferson up to the 4th position in number 78. That 78 has come alive. I don't know if it's 4 tires or what, but that 78 is moving towards the front. Jefferson clears for 4th, but can he run down Jonathan Rains, who's way out there? Morgan trying to get by Stapleton, but Rains is gone. He's running 2/10 faster laps than the 27 and about 1/10 faster than the 13. But the 78 ran pretty similar lap time right there. Don't count out Jay Jefferson if he can get by somehow. These guys bound for second. Try and run down that 29. Stapleton off the top. He's going to get a huge runoff. He's going to be able to clear easily Steve Morgan and Jay Jefferson with Carson Bowers behind him. That's your top 5. Then Griffin Lynn 6th. The battles for 7th. Jake Galloway and Grayson Thompson. It looks like Galloway get that. Thompson back to 7th. Or 8th, excuse me. Riley Sprague up to 9th. And Stuart Gratton rounding out the top 10. That number 56. Look at the damage to that car. And somehow it's still moving up towards the front. Diego Yepes, Luigi Octavio, Andrew Miller. Shones has damage. Look at all these cars with damage. Looking for your points leader. There's the 24 Brandon Tharp. He is your points leader. Right now settled out in, I believe, the 20th position. Decent day for him, especially with second in points. Code Luigi being at the back with damage. Luigi right now battling inside the 33rd position. He's battling for 31st right now with William Seaman pretty much just stuck at the back with that damage. And Rains is gone. It's the battle for second that's going to get interesting here with 20 laps to go. Jay Jefferson trying to march down to Steve Morgan and Nathan Stapleton and make it a 3-horse race for second. He's on the back bumper of Morgan now. Does he make the move down the dogleg? Oh, he has enough of a run. I think he can. I think he can dive into the bottom in 3 and try and slap in front of him off of 4. Jefferson can't cut the car to the bottom. He does get down low. Gives the 13 a little bump up top. Couldn't do anything with it. He's showing he has a faster car, though. Showing that car can grip a little bit better. Bowers just kind of falling off the 78. Looked like there might have been a battle between he and Jefferson, but falling off here. Now what does Jefferson do? Does he give him a bump again? This time he moves to the inside. He's side by side, dead even with him off of 4. A little bit of advantage to the 78 down low. And side by side to the stripe, dead even, door handle to door handle as they hit turn number 1. Jefferson, once again with the run to the bottom lane, trying to clear the 13, have a shot for second. What a great last 2 races this has been for that 78 team. Went out to Las Vegas, ran top 10 pretty much all race, finished top 5 as the caution has come out. What Jay Jefferson wanted to see and what Jonathan Rains did not want to see, a yellow flag, which is going to change the whole complexity of this race. Jonathan Buford, it looks like, goes around. He was off pace, but it looks like he's going all right. So the 4 car causes another caution late in this race. It's going to be an interesting restart. Let's check out what happened. Big stack up off turn number 2. They're going 4 wide. Zidell on the outside. Jonathan Buford in the middle with Jeff Bright. And then Joe Jefferson down low. And there's not enough room. Buford gets up into Zidell. Goes down to Jeff Bright. And it spins the 4 car around. Zidell does a great save down onto the apron. And then the 4 spins back up the track. Luckily does not collect anyone else. But the yellow comes out. And it's going to set up an interesting restart here with about what I would say maybe just a little over 10 laps to go, possibly about 12, 13 laps to go when we get the green flag. That's going to be interesting because Reigns out front did not want to see that. Stapleton in the middle of he and Jefferson, and this is exactly what that 78 car wanted to see. He was coming there late. We'll have to see, can he get to the 29 car? Everyone, of course, will stay out. Jonathan Reigns has had a dominating day at Phoenix, but he has some closers coming behind him. Stapleton and Jefferson going to try and take it once we get to the green flag. Here we go. 13 laps to go at Phoenix. When we get to the green flag, no cars retired. 34 cars still left on the lead lap in the race. Jonathan Reigns out front of the 29, trying to cap off a dominating day with a victory. And visiting victory lane, Nathan Stapleton, his teammate, trying to take it away in second. But they're both trying to keep Jay Jefferson from winning in third. Jefferson coming as of late. Can he get up there? Morgan fourth, Bowers fifth. Galloway, Spurley-Tube, Yepes, Lynn, Thompson rounding out the top 10. We're back racing. A slow restart right there. The 27 jumps down to the inside, almost running into the back of the 29. Stapleton lower in the corner than Reigns. Down the backstretch. No moves made as of yet. Morgan peeking on the 78th Jay Jefferson. Look at Stapleton. Runs into the corner. Jefferson to the bottom. That 78 needs to get by Stapleton as quick as he can to try and run down Reigns. There was a car on pit road. I don't know who it was. Jefferson back to the inside of the 27 of Stapleton. He has to get by him this lap. He'll have 11 laps if he can. I don't know who that car is coming off of pit road. Jay Jefferson to the inside of Reigns. Moves that 20 out the track. And now they're side by side down the front stretch. Reigns leads the lap and has the drafting up from his teammate up top. Jay Jefferson trying to clear some contact made. The 78 of Jefferson. Can he do it in 3 and 4? Reigns fighting back on the top. But the 78 clears Jay Jefferson to the race lead with now 10 laps of racing to go. Reigns, though, sails into second. Now can he try and run down the 78? As long as Reigns doesn't have drama back there from the 27, he can easily get up to the 78 in the draft. Look at the run he has as they're 3 wide behind inside the top 10. Reigns back to the inside of Jefferson. Moves him up the track. And now they're side by side with 9 to go. Jefferson with the run off the top clears. But don't count out that 29. Reigns can pull something off right here. Still 3 wide back there. Galloway and Bowers getting a little close. Thompson and Luke Rainey also getting close. Reigns back to the back bumper of the 78. Looks to the inside once again. This time a better run. And now 8 laps to go. Reigns barely ahead the stripe. Jefferson not giving an inch. Reigns takes it right back. Now look at the 27. He's bound with the 78. This is not what Jay Jefferson needed. Can he get the run off the top? He does. He's going to try and clear Stapleton right here and try and run back down Reigns. 7 to go. 7 laps to go at Phoenix. 7 miles. Jonathan Reigns trying to hold off and close off a dominating performance. Jefferson trying to get back to victory lane in the Gatorade Cup Series. It's been over a season, about a season and a half. Went to victory lane season 4 in the number 48 at Charlotte. Now 6 to go. Reigns ran a better lap last time. As they fight for third, Steve Morgan and Nathan Stapleton are side by side. Diego Yepes up into the top 5 in the number 87. Where does he come from? Morgan still battling for third. Almost up into Stapleton. Now 5 laps to go. Jefferson really high off the corner, almost into the wall. And once again, 29 runs faster. Did Jefferson wear his stuff up? Did Reigns save enough? Is Reigns pushing now? Jefferson trying to save for one last shot with about 3 laps to go. Jefferson up higher again. I don't know if he's driving that car to the limit or if he's using a higher lane or something, but he is trying to run that 29 car down. About similar lap times that time by. The 29 just a tick faster. They will see 3 laps to go this time by. And it's a 4-horse race for that third position. Morgan, Stapleton, Yepes, and Spurleytube. Jonathan Rains started on pole in the number 29. Led the opening 10 laps. A caution comes out. They hit pit road. Rains loses that race lead. Some cars that took 2 tires. Rains gets it back. A caution comes out. A charging 78 of Jay Jefferson gets to the race lead. Rains gets it right back. And now opening the gap. Coming to see 2 laps to go. Rains has to make it around 2 miles. Jefferson fading back to this pack behind. The 78 car losing ground and fast with now 2 laps to go. Yeah, he's running slower laps than these guys back here. There's something wrong with that 78 car. He wore the tires off of it, or that car's just, the handling has gone away possibly. I would say he wore those tires off it, though. He made a hard charge there coming up through the field. And I believe that might have been all she wrote. Coming to the white flag for Jonathan Rains. Starts on pole, and now he's 1 lap away from victory at Phoenix. White flag for the 29. Make it around 1 mile, and he wins. Race off of 2 down the backstretch. Jonathan Rains, a dominating day in the desert. As they hit 3 and 4. No contest behind him. Jefferson has fallen back to the battle for 3rd. As they race off of 4, Jonathan Rains dominates in the desert to win at Phoenix. Jefferson 2nd, Yepes up to 3rd. And what a race that was. What a race to the finish. Jonathan Rains holds off a hard-charging Jay Jefferson to get to victory lane in the Gatorade 500 at Phoenix. And it definitely helps him in the point standings. 2019 back to victory lane in the Gatorade Cup Series. Let's go check the finishing results. Here are the finishing results from the Gatorade 500 at Phoenix. There were 3 caution flags for 12 laps and 6 lead changes among 5 different drivers. Jonathan Rains, though, starting on pole and dominating, leading 33 of the 47 laps, the most to get to victory lane. Jay Jefferson was out front for 2 laps. He ends up 2nd, just could not close out the deal. Diego Yepes comes out of nowhere to finish 3rd. Solid day for him after starting 31st. In 4th, it was Steve Morgan in the 13th. He led 6 laps. Nathan Stapleton in the 27 ends up 5th, leading 2 laps. Then 6th, they had Luigi Octavio, Riley Spurleytube in 7th, Tim Randolph 8th, Grayson Thompson 9th, and Carson Bowers rounding out the top 10. So there's your top 20. See, TJ Hanley and Jeff Bright made some charges late. Hanley started 40th, ends up 13th. Bright ended up 14th after starting 32nd. We talked about them not at all. And Trey Rainey up to 15th. That car had some damage. Great run for that 18 team. Look at the 3 guys that were down at the bottom of the points. Andrew Miller ends up 20th. It's his first race he's finished, so he's probably pretty happy about that. Rainey in the top 15. Trey Rainey, that is. And TJ Hanley 13th. Definitely some great momentum here at Phoenix. It'll definitely help them. Jonathan Rains, some really huge momentum, winning the race, leading the most laps, and now has the points lead by a few points. So Jonathan Rains now out front of the points. Tharp, who was your points leader coming into the race, ends up 21st. A mediocre day all around for the 24 team, especially considering they won this race last season. 2nd in points, Luigi ends up 29th. He had some damage from that crash, could never recover from that, ends up in the 29th position. He is still top 10 in points, though, so last season's champion cannot fret just yet. Alexander Rose, the car on pit road, he ends up 5 laps down the 35th position, not what he wanted. He was up in the top 20, I believe. Nichols was a lap down for the whole race, could never get back on the lead lap after having the issues at the start of the race. And all these guys involved in crashes. Let's now look at the point standings. West Coast swing done. 4 races done. Here are the points. Jonathan Rains has a win this season after this win at Phoenix. Moves up to the points lead by only 7 points over Stuart Gratton in 2nd. Brandon Tharp only 9 behind in 3rd. So those front 3 very close. Even 4th. Jeff Bright only 24 back. Lou Jack Taylor up to 5th, only 41 back. Nicole Luigi in 6th, Luke Rainey up to 7th, great points for him so far. Carson Bowers in 8th, Derek Himmel in 9th, and Jay Jefferson up to 10th. Now two top 5s in a row, some very, very great momentum after heading out west and heading back to the east now. So there's top 20. Tim Randolph, your Las Vegas winner, is now 11th in the points. All 4 winners are in the top 11 in points. Donovan Dewitt has been on a downward spiral after Las Vegas, involved in a crash here, and now down to 15th in the points. Not what he wanted, but still in contention for a chase spot. Remember, only 4 races in, a lot can happen. 21st to 4th, and how funny is it that Kyle Perry and Colton Yo are 21st and 22nd in points, and that's even funnier because depending on where you are in points, that goes off of where you are in the garage, and if you're, say, 21st and 22nd in points, you will have that person as your neighbor in the garage. So if you're 21st in points, you have 22nd in points, and 20th in points as your neighbor. If you're 22nd, you have 21st and 23rd in points as your neighbors in the garage. So that's very interesting there. Andrew Miller still last in points, 3 DNFs, but gets a finish, a lead lap finish, and closed in on Jake Galloway, Lawrence Palapon. Trey Rainey moves out of the 40s. TJ Hanley the same there. And some of these guys trying to fight out of a hole they dug themselves early in the season. So the next race after the West Coast swing is at Martinsville for the Tums 500. See you guys then.